Here we go. Hello, hello. Testing. 1 2 1 2. Here we go. Is it working? Hello, hello. Testing. 1 2 1 2. I need to shave my mustache a little bit. But hello. I saw someone comment. I don't know who. And I don't have two monitors. That's in progress. So whoever commented hello, give me 1 second. Oh, you're hearing double. Sorry. There we go. I'm still figuring this out, but yeah. YouTube. Gotta watch my own live stream, you know, for the watch hours, you know. Yeah, you know. Ah, Cam! Hello! Nice to see you. Thank you for hopping on the stream. That was like instantaneous. What, did you get a notification? You decided to join? That was unbelievable. I would have background music, but I don't really have royalty-free music. Hey, Mace Dog, hello. Yeah, thank you. I'm not used to streaming, if that's not obvious. So I'm still getting used to it and everything else. So we'll see. The face cam is much better quality than I thought it would be. I'm kind of impressed by it, I'm going to be honest, because I had always assumed that this dinky thing was trash, but it was also only like 25 bucks, I think, 30? I don't know. It was cheap, so the fact that it's good is good, basically. Ah, look at that. Meant to be. Looks like I'm clipping a little bit. Nice. Smooth jazz. You like jazz? You know what? Here. I'll do you guys one better. Excuse me. Let's go. This is gonna be so botched. Let's go here. I'm not gonna upload anything. Let's go to audio library and let's go to jazz, funky jazz and blues. Duration, let's go the longer ones. Let's go 4 minutes. Still not right. And what's the attribution? No attribution needed. That sounds good to me. So let's download that. Open that. Actually, let's hush that down. Open that. And open it on Groove. Let's turn it down. And is it on loop? Repeat 1. Alright. There we go. Nice. Okay. We are rolling. You should know better than anybody, Cam, that I'm not gonna play Ham Salad Boys. You should know that. I'll plug them. Absolutely. But not gonna play it on stream maybe one day. If you and everyone else can get together, maybe. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. But that's an even better thought. Let's go royalty free New York jazz. There we go. Copyright royalty free. Oh, that's only 3 minutes. That's certainly not royalty free. I'll tell you that much. I think this works. For now. No copyright? Sure. Let's, in that case, let's do this one. This one's an hour. We'll see if I get slapped with a copyright claim. I doubt it, but we'll see. Anyways, hello. This is the first episode of a new podcast series where I'm going to sit down every week, either alone or with other people, and learn about cryptids. Today's the Wendigo. The first one is probably the best one. Well, I say, okay, that came out wrong. The most popular one. Let me know if it's too high or low. But the idea of the series is essentially to just sit down, gather friends and people onto the stream with, and literally just sit down and learn, because I don't know anything about any of these pretty much. I know the Skinwalker, I think in Native American legend, not Cherokee, I don't remember the tribe, but I know that I'm pretty sure Skinwalker is like a medical Native American, like a doctor, and instead they use their practices for black magic. The black magic and the dark magic is then what transforms them, because they wear the pelt and head of a creature that they want to embody, and then by using the dark arts, I'm butchering this, they become that creature essentially, and that is the essence of a Skinwalker, unlike today where we know it as just a creature that is a dog standing on 4 legs. So that's the idea. Just go every week, creature by creature by creature, learn, read, maybe watch some videos. It's almost like a class. I hate to say that, but it's a fun class because it's like about cryptids, which are awesome. So we'll see how it goes. I think this is a fun idea. I don't know. I've always wanted to do something like this, but that is just me. All right, so why don't we start the Wendigo? And yeah, let me know if the music is too loud or too low. Unfortunately, I couldn't get anybody to join this week, which is fine. It is what it is. But in the future, we're gonna go down the line, get people on. Probably no special guests because, i.e., I have one person watching right now, so not in a position to get guests on my YouTube live streams. But who knows? Oh, and for all intents and purposes, this is by Notchback Music. And here is their description, as this is NBM, and NBM is full of copyright / royalty free music to use in YouTube videos. Enjoy. So, thank you. This song is made by this is made by Ross Bugden, and yes, I will copy and paste this into the description later on, but I promise. Actually. Yeah, later on, just because there's sensitive info that I would show if I go and do that now. But I will, I promise. This is the artist, though. So I'm gonna leave it there for a second. Drink of water. You guys take a look. When this turns into a video on demand, again, that'll be in the description. So, I guess we should start the first episode with an actual definition. What is a cryptid? Now, I could give you my own definition, but the internet is the internet, and this isn't school, so I'm going to use Wikipedia, because I trust Wikipedia, unlike those psychopaths who say it's not trustworthy. Oh, 1 second, forgot something. We're good? Alright. Cryptid. So, apparently there's a film called Cryptids. Is that still upcoming? When was this movie made? Because that said, Cryptids redirects here for upcoming film, but is that film still upcoming? I can't zoom in far enough on there. I can't. I guess it's still upcoming, yeah. Okay. Well, regardless. Cryptids. So they're animals that I feel like this is a little loud. That sounds a little bit better. So, cryptids are animals that cryptozoologists, that's a word, believe may exist somewhere in the wild, but are not believed to exist by mainstream science. And cryptozoology is a pseudoscience which primarily looks at anecdotal stories and other claims rejected by the scientific community, where biologists regularly identify new species following established scientific methodology. Cryptozoologists focus on entities mentioned in folklore, record, and rumor. Entities that may be considered cryptids by cryptozoologists include Bigfoot, Yeti, the Chupacabra, the Jersey Devil, the Loch Ness Monster, and the Munkali Mbembe. I can't pronounce that, but regardless, so it's like Bigfoot. if you want to know what cryptid is, it's Bigfoot, it's Loch Ness Monster, it's creatures that are rumored to exist. There's proof they exist, but that proof is heavily debated, and there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts about the fact that that is even being talked about at all within, I guess you would call it the community of people researching this stuff. This looks like a very good list of cryptids to look into. I mean, this is all over the world too, so that's actually pretty neat. And like I said, every week we'll be looking at a different one, depending on how this goes. If this is a more popular idea or series, I guess you would call it, then what I would like to do is, as we learn more about each different one, go back and in future ones start looking at evidence, right? So like Bigfoot, for example. Obviously everyone knows Bigfoot, but the history of it, what's the history, what's the idea behind it, what's the rumors, the lore essentially of Bigfoot, which is hilarious, and go back and start watching those videos and see how people react. Obviously everybody has an opinion on that one Bigfoot video, you know, the yellow filter over that old camera, the guy walking, whatever. But is there other evidence, other photos of these things, especially like the lesser known, like the Jersey Devil is probably, I mean, I wouldn't say probably, it's definitely lesser known when you compare it to like the Loch Ness Monster and compare that to the Bigfoot and Bigfoot to Yeti and Chupacabra. I mean, these are all things that everyone knows about, but what does the evidence look like? What do the actual, what do the actual photos and videos being put forward show, and can you dissect them? I, and anybody who comes on this podcast, that's again a live podcast every week, we are not investigators. We're not researchers, and I can tell you right now, even though I would challenge this statement, I'm gonna say I'm probably the most obsessed one with this whole idea of cryptids that I know of my friends, and even then I know so little. So I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot behind all of this. There's a lot behind just the idea of cryptids, and I've gone on a monologue long enough. So that's what a cryptid is. That first one. Scholars know the cryptozoology subculture rejected main media. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay. People don't like that. People are researching things that don't make sense. Cool. You can have my toes anytime you want, baby. So for now, we're gonna go back to the Wendigo, and let's just start looking at the Wikipedia and see the sources of the wiki. Look at the sources. We're gonna read up a little bit on the history, read up on the people that had to do with this, the types of people, the cultures, and just go from there. See if, you know, maybe, I'm sure if you look up Wendigo video on YouTube, you're gonna get at least one or two things. One day look at that. What do those look like? You know, what are the photos of the Wendigo look like? There has to be something for it, you know? So first, learn about it. If we can at the end, look up a little bit of evidence, see what it looks like, move on to the next one next week. Would I ever go on a live hunt for cryptids? Yes. Yes, I would. I'm in Massachusetts. There's not, as far as I'm aware, of course I just closed out that tab. There is not a whole lot of cryptids in Massachusetts. Let's actually take a look. Let's just look up cryptids. Go to Wikipedia and Control F, Mass. Where's my thing? There it is. So of the whole list on Wikipedia of cryptids, there's one in Massachusetts called the Dover Demon. And it was reported twice. I see. Okay. So oh, goody. He looks fun. Oh, look at him. Ain't he a cutie? He looks like a gray mixed with a cat that got lost in Chernobyl. Yeah. So, alright. Would I go hunting them? Yeah. Well, let's actually even take a step back. I wouldn't go hunting them. Alright, in the sense of, hunting, you know, skinning it alive and, or not alive, but, you know, killing it or bringing it back skinned or not skinned, whatever. Just that whole concept of the word hunted, because I was an English minor. Words are important. I wouldn't go hunting cryptids. Would I go on an expedition? Yes. I would love that. That would be really interesting. The hesitation comes in where a lot of these, from my understanding, have a heavy bit of spiritualism in them and spirituality. Currently, I'm not in a position to go out, like, the fact this has the word demon in the name, whoops, well, whatever. The fact that I had the word demon in the name is, even then, just a little bit disconcerting, because that's something that my family, for example, who I live with, they are not one to probably let me go and hunt something that has the word demon in it. So, yes, but it would have to be the right cryptid. That said, I would love to do that. I was this close to go ghost hunting in the past. This close, like 5 times. And unfortunately, now that's no longer an option for me unless something came along my way. But that is really something I want to do. So, it is definitely something that I want to search for. Yo, Kim, you're not the only one. Let me tell you that much. Yeah. Oh wow, that spiel. I'm lost on the comments. I need a second monitor. This is my phone. Hi. I wonder if it is in Dover. It might be. I'll have to do an episode on the Dover Demon then, huh? I'm gonna go Dover, searching for yeah. I mean, hey, you know what? I would actually not mind going to Dover if that cryptid had the right timeline. The other thing is, if it was spotted last time in 1977. Cryptids, the whole point of them is we don't really know everything about them. It's probably dead. It's 50 years. Should we just make this about the Dover Demon? Let's look at the Dover Demon. Oh yeah. No, that too. Although, you know what? I feel like of anybody, Cam, of anybody I know, you would be the one who probably has the best links to get me somewhere. Like, I have plenty of friends, I think, who would love to go with me, but you're probably the one that, like, hey, so I talked to a guy who knew a guy, knew a guy, knew a guy who knew a guy. We're going. Like, all right. So my hotel's paid for? That's what you're telling me? But, yeah, let's... I was going to talk about the Wendigo, but the more we're talking about this, what is it? Bend? I don't understand what you mean. I'm sorry, Miss Dog. All right. So, the Dover Demon, then. We'll talk about the Wendigo in a minute. It was reported on April 21st and 22nd in 1977 in town of Dover, Mass. So this guy named Bill Bartlett, this is his sketch of the Dover Demon. No higher resolution available. Good. I'm glad it's a high resolution. Actually, did that have a... That's what I meant to do. There we go. Alright, so it was drawn by William Bartlett, who was a young adult at the time of the illustration's completion. He claims to have witnessed a creature around 10:30 p.m. on April 21st, 1977, along with 2 friends. Oh, he was driving. Okay. Alright, so right there, like, yeah, you might have saw this thing while driving. As a kid, I thought I saw an Enderman while I was tired in the car with my parents. Like, hey, you're driving, man, and it's 10:30 p.m. So whether it was winter or summer, that's dark. Probably saw something in the corner of your eye, but I guess I'll have to read his actual documentation on the story that happened. Oh, yeah, bend over. No, hey, you know what? All y'all in the chat, if you want to ever go on a expedition or hunt, and even ghost hunt, don't tell my family, then hey, let me know. I would love that. Seriously, that would be something I'm very interested in. Especially cryptid. The ghost stuff, a little bit, but this cryptid stuff, man, I don't plan on living past 65 because of my family genes, so I'm here for a good time, and that good time involves cryptids, then it involves cryptids, so I'm down. Alright, so the Dover Demon. 17, he was also 17. So we're going by a teenager, not to undercut teenager, we're going by a teenager who saw something at 10:30 at night while driving. Okay. So 17-year-old William Bill Bartlett claimed that while driving on April 21st, 77, he saw a large-eyed creature with tendril-like fingers and glowing eyes on top of a broken stone wall on Farm Street in Dover, Massachusetts. Okay, so it's on a stone wall. It's late at night. He was driving, and it was April, which is still pretty cold probably. And this was 77, so 50 years, well, a little under 50 years ago. And it was in Mass. All right, cool. Good so far. 15-year-old, another teenager. Okay, interesting. John Baxter reported seeing a similar creature on Miller Hill Road the same evening. Another 15-year-old, Abby Barbham, claimed to have seen the creature the following night on Springdale Avenue. The teenagers all drew sketches of the alleged creature. Bartlett wrote on his sketch, "I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature." That's a pretty heavy stack. Bibles are not lie, I'll tell you that. According to the Boston Globe reported it. Really? That's interesting. Okay. The locations of the sightings, plotted on a map, lay in a straight line over 2 miles. Some suggested the creature may have been a foal or moose calf. Police told the Associated Press that creatures reported by teenagers were probably nothing more than a school vacation hoax. Alright. So that alone... it's you got like 2 things going on there that immediately are like red flags to me, I'll call it. You have pure, like, just strictly teenagers, all right? And the oldest of which is 17, the other 2 are being 15, all reporting the same creature that's never been heard of before, with these exotic features, at night, mind you, while driving, mind you, sitting on a stone wall. And I wish they don't have the sketches, huh? They don't have the sketches from the other 2? Because I thought, didn't it say? Oh, no, okay. Oh yeah, all drew sketches, so where do the sketches go? Here's one sketch, what about the other 2? Alright, well anyway, so we'll get to that later. In 2009, the Dover Demon was featured in an episode of the American horror television series Lost Tapes, which aired on American Horror Lost Tapes? Isn't that the one where they make like fake found footage? Lost Tapes is American television, aired on Animal Planet, produced by Traumatic Encounters of Creature. Yeah, okay. So that has no real value. They just took it as inspiration, I guess. In 2009, it was on an episode of Lost Tapes on Animal Planet. The Dover Demon appears as a character in the American comic book series Proof, which features various other creatures of cryptozoology. In the comic, it was a creature able to see into the future. Okay. It appears in another similar comic series called the Perhapunauts? Is that what it says? The Dover Demon would further make brief appearances in comic books The Proud, Ghouls Night Out, and Hack and Slash Entry Wound. Alright. Hold on. I'm going to... Yeah, there all you are. Hi, guys. Let's change this to the Dover Demon. And while I'm here, because whatever, let's just add this as well. Background music used. Save. Alright. So, we have a creature spotted by 3 teenagers, 117, 215, at night, one of which while driving. The other 2, I guess the other 2 just randomly saw it, because it doesn't talk about how they saw it, or like what the situation was when they did. The other 2, just seeing it. And then they all drew sketches, one of which apparently we have, and that's as far as we go. The eyes glow, and that is the supposed creature that it, I guess, is supposed to look like. Yeah, let's set that as my desktop background. There you go. Huh. Alright. Well, let's look at, because my thought now is, it said that the Boston Globe... Oh, hi, Lord Shax. I look, you know, it's just a creature, all right? And this is, I'm assuming, all that we know about the story, especially after they talked about it. But the comic book series just figured, okay, glowing eyes, sees in the future. So, hey, creative inspiration can be found wherever. Okay, decades later, the Dover demon still haunts. This is on the Boston Globe. Boston.com news. Let's zoom in and read. Decades later, the Dover demon still haunts. By Mark Sullivan, Globe correspondent, August 29th, 2006. Alright, so remember, this was a report by the Boston Globe talking about the 3 reported sightings of this creature after 3 decades later? 2 decades? 77, 80, almost 30 years. So 1 year off, so 29 years. Thank you. It was chat's choice, actually, believe it or not. Thank you. I think it was Cam that said that, right? Yeah, Cameron. You can thank Cameron for the music choice. It was a very nice choice. I love jazz. You like jazz? There's a cryptid. Jerry Seinfeld. Dover. 29 years later, William Bartlett stands by his story of what he saw on Farm Street that night. It was an... Okay. So, 17 years old, claims to have seen an elaborate creature, sketched it, apparently all sketches look the same, and is now being interviewed 29 years later. Keep that in mind. It was an eerie human-like creature, he said, about 4 feet tall with glowing orange eyes and no nose or mouth and a watermelon-shaped head. I have no idea what it was, Bartlett, now a 46-year-old artist living in Needham, said in a recent interview. I definitely know I saw something. The Dover demon that Bartlett and 2 other teenagers reported seeing over a 2-day span in April 1977 has since gained worldwide attention, not unlike Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and the Latin American goat sucker, the Chupacabra. Internet pages are devoted to the Dover demon, and you could play a video game featuring the creature or buy it. Okay, so they're going to talk about what's in a video game. I'm not going to mention a video game. I'd play that game. Absolutely. In a lot of ways, it's kind of embarrassing to me, he said. I definitely saw, or said Bartlett, I definitely saw something. It was definitely weird. I didn't make it up. Sometimes I wish I had. Wow, he's really doubling down. He has made a career as a painter. His work displayed in galleries on both coasts, but a Google search on Bill Bartlett, he noted, invariably turns up his teenage encounter with the unknown. Really? Let's just take that real quick and copy it to our clipboard. Once, his wife, Gwen Spider-Man, browsing the horror section of a bookstore, flipped open an encyclopedia of monsters, and there was an entry about her husband and the Dover demon. It's a thing that's been following me for years, Bartlett said. Not the creature, the story. Sometimes I dread every Halloween getting calls. Can you imagine that? So, like, just real quick, alright? Just back off for a second. You, as a 17-year-old, let's say he's being honest here, okay? Because I like to think people are good over than they are not truthful. Let's say he's being honest. 17 years old, driving down, you see this random creature with orange glowing eyes, and you report it to someone. Let's say the police. Well, that police officer tells someone who tells someone who tells someone, and snowball effects. And now, every year, since you were 17 to 46 years old, every Halloween, you get a call. Hey, so, remember when you were 17? Yeah. How was that like? Like, can you, seriously, you know, like, that story just follows you throughout your entire life. I can't even imagine. Alright, so, on April 21st, 1977, Bartlett, then 17, was driving along Farm Street around 10 p.m. I think the Dover demon. Okay, those are good sources to have as well. But let's look up Dover demon. Go back to the Wikipedia page. Blah 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 blah. In the meantime, what are you guys saying? Right? It's like you're just trying to give candies out to Gokus and to Transformers and to all these like orcs. And in the meantime, you're just getting calls from random people that either you forgot about or you never met, just talking about this one thing that happened to you when you were 17. Like, just, I don't want to do that. It was 10:39. Is that what this said? Instead of using my eyes because I'm blind. 10. Oh, well, alright, never mind. I thought it was a specific time, but, whatever, it doesn't matter. So anyway. Alright, 10 p.m. when he said he saw the creature atop a broken stone wall. 2 hours later, according to news accounts from that time, John Baxter, 15, was walking home from his girlfriend's house when he got within 15 feet of the creature. 15 feet. Wow. Along a creek in a heavily wooded area along Miller Road. At midnight the next night, Abby Barbam, 15, again 15, was driving home with her boyfriend when she spotted the creature sitting upright on Springdale Avenue. A drawing made by Baxter showed a humanoid figure with 2 large eyes standing by a tree. Bartlett's large-eyed creature crawled with tendril-like fingers across stone wall. And then this is the quote again. I Barrow swear on the stack of Bibles. I saw this creature, he wrote in the sketch. Locations of the sightings plotted on a map, lay in a straight line over 2 aether miles, I guess. 2 miles, I assume. All the sightings were made within the vicinity of water. Really? Well, that's interesting. No signs have been reported since, though Bartlett says a weird experience a year later left him wondering if he had a return visit from the creature. The following year, he said, alright, so here's more, and this is what I mean, right? Like, one hyperlink, or not even hyperlink, one mention of the Boston Globe talking about this random creature. It brings you to, like, okay, so a 17-year-old just happened to see this creature, right? And now it's within water. There was a second time he saw it. It's 2 miles, and they were all by people seemingly driving, except for one that was within 15 feet. Like, now we're kind of starting to put pins on the wall, you know what I mean? Alright. The following year, he said he was in a parked car with his girlfriend. Again, a car. When he heard a thump on the car, he made out a small figure leaving the scene. He remains unsure who or what banged on the car, he said, though it could have been a youngster playing a prank. Farm Street. So, was that also on Farm Street? Okay. Farm Street on a recent evening could have been a modern-day Sleepy Hollow with woods lining the fieldstone walls and what little light was coming from the moon since at least the 17th century. The vicinity of the second oldest road in Dover had been associated with strange occurrences. Okay. In his 1914 town history, Dover Farms, Frank Smith writes of Farm Street. So, before we read this, keep in mind this is the same road that Bill was driving on when he spotted the creature for the first time, and was also the spot of the 2 other recordings. And I think that this right here, the second time that Bill might have seen the creature, this is insinuating it was on the same street. But I don't know. So, this is a passage by Frank Smith writing about Dover Street, and the passage called Dover Farms. I guess I don't really know what to call this, but regardless, in early times this road went around the picturesque Polka Rock on the farm of George Batella, sure, which was called for a man by that name, of whom it is remembered that amid the superstitions of that age he saw his satanic majesty as he was riding on a horseback by this secluded spot. Okay, this got dark. The location has long been looked upon as one in which treasures are hid, but why anyone should go so far inland to hide treasures has never been told. However, there has been at times unmistakable evidence of considerable digging in the immediate vicinity within this rock. End quote. Lauren Coleman of Portland, Maine, a well-known cryptozoologist or researcher of hidden animals, from Sasquatch to sea serpents, led the original investigations into the Dover demon, whose name he coined. Okay, so this guy Lauren, his name is Lauren. He made the name up, I guess, for the Dover demon. Studying Dover's history, Coleman said in a telephone interview he was struck by the fact that the area in which the demon was sighted had a tradition of unexplained activity. That is interesting. That is something that is not in the Wikipedia that I think should be. In the same area, you had 3 major legends going on, he said, citing the apparition of the devil on horseback, which is the one we just read about, the tales of buried treasure, again, the one we just read about, and then the Dover demon. I think it certainly says something. It's almost as if there are certain areas that collect sightings almost in a magnetic way. Coleman theorized that the large geological outcropping in the woods off Farm Street that historian Smith called a polka stone might actually have been called a puka stone after the fairy folk of Celtic folklore. And now we're adding fairies to this. When the Dover demon was sighted in 77, it might not have been the first time a strange creature was spotted in the woods by local teenagers. Okay. Mark Sinnott of Sherborne, who was buying a bagel and coffee at Isabel's Groceria in Dover Center on a recent Saturday morning, said there was talk at Dover Sherborne High School in the early 70s of strange things seen in the woods. Okay, so that's just a claim by somebody who talked about being back in high school and how there were rumors going around school in the 70s of strange things in the woods. It's worth noting that so far almost everything has been by teenagers except for that one passage from the 17th century about the farm road. Farm Street, yeah. So just keep that in mind. And if it's not reported by a teenager themselves, it's reported by somebody after the fact about when they were a teenager. Now, albeit this is all in the 70s, but it's a trend going on here. It's a line that I'm kind of getting a little about. Just saying. In fact, Sinnott said he and his friends might have seen a demon themselves at Channing Pond on Springdale Avenue in 72. I don't know if we really saw something, he said. We thought we did. We have a small figure deep in the woods moving at the edge of the pond. We could see it moving in the headlights. We didn't know. It could have been an animal, Sinnott said. The group told police, who investigated, but, quote, nothing came of it, end quote. When Bartlett saw his creature 5 years later, he said he was driving with two friends on Farm Street near Bridge Street on the way to Sherborne about 10 p.m. They hadn't had any beer. We were probably looking for it, he said, but we didn't have any that night. Oh, the beer, okay. Bartlett said the car was traveling maybe 35 to 40 miles an hour when he saw the thing standing on a wall, its eyes glowing in the headlights. It was not a dog or a cat, he said. It had no tail. It had an egg-shaped head. He said he saw it from about 10 feet away. Over the duration, it took the car to travel from one unity pole to the next. His two friends did not report seeing the creature. He grew up around animals and had seen the odd mangy fox, Bartlett said. This definitely wasn't, he said. It was some kind of creature with, quote, long, thin fingers, end quote, and more human-like in its form than animal, end quote. Its shape reminded him of, quote, kids with distended bellies, end quote, he said. I've always tried to guess what it was. I never had any idea, he said. This was no prank, Bartlett said. I wasn't trying to be funny. People who know me know I didn't make this up. And Coleman, who began an investigation within days of the sighting in 77, spotlights the Dover demon case in the 2001 edition of his book, Mysterious America, believes Bartlett. We have a credible case over 25 hours by individuals who saw something, said Coleman, who interviewed all three teens within a week of the reported sightings and said he was convinced they had not concocted a hoax. So, at this point, between the Wikipedia... So, it sounds like the Wikipedia just was writing a few certain select things from the Boston Globe, because there's, like, nothing... Aside from the sketch itself, there's really nothing specific about the Wikipedia article that this report doesn't mention, which I would say isn't too surprising, considering this is 2006. But again, this is also written 29 years after, so everything is just so far after the initial sighting. There's been no recent reports of this thing since that one instance during the 22nd of April by the two 15-year-olds and Bill at 17, and apparently we have somebody else who was claiming that there were multiple ideas going around in high school in the early 70s of creatures going around. The only thing that catches me, really, kind of hooks just a little bit, is that there's a history to this road of Farm Street, right? It's very interesting that a passage from the 17th century, the 1600s, kind of backs up something completely disjointed from modern day. That's the only one so far that I'm like, okay, this might have a little bit of merit. And it was also near water, mind you. I don't know where that, when he was with his girlfriend in the car, I don't know where that was. It didn't mention if it was near water. But it was insinuating it was at Farm Street, and considering everything about Farm Street was near water, I'm going to assume that would have also been near water. Kind of like how, You know, here in Mass, you got roads that kind of line a stone wall, and that stone wall isn't too far from a pond. There's a lot of those around here. So I wouldn't be too surprised if everything is around water. And if it is, and people did go looking for this thing after the fact, then I'm starting to think maybe they should have been looking in the water, right? Because that's the thing. The thing is standing on a stone block, all right? It's not standing on the grass. I personally feel oftentimes when a creature, an animal, in my experience, is wet, it would prefer anything over dirt, right? Wood, stone, man-made materials like plastics, metal, anything that isn't dirt. I don't know why. I'm not a biologist, but well, is that even biology? I don't know. Not the point. Point is, that does make sense because it was probably drying off. If you're going to dry off, why get your feet wet? Or in this case, tendrils. You might as well stand on stone while you dry off. And once you dry off, then you go back into the water after you do whatever you do on land. So if they were searching for it, and it seems like they might have at one point, they should have been looking in the water. But who knows? That's just one thought so far. Everything's pointing towards a wet creature, and that would make also that would make a lot more sense. Because what's the one thing about Earth that we truly don't know anything about? The last frontier of Earth, the ocean. What's the thing about the ocean? There's creatures in there that defy all logic. I mean, there's a whole one of these episodes actually. There's a whole theory about, I think it's called like the black carpet, right? And the black carpet or something like that. It is just this theory of a huge portion of the globe's surface of the sea, right? At the very bottom is just this one or many organisms combined into one of jellyfish, right? And it's this theory saying that the ocean's floor isn't actual rock. It's this creature, right? If that can even be a theory, then something with glowing orange eyes in a car's headlights near water standing on a rock wouldn't be that out of place, in my opinion, especially if it has tendrils. Like, it does, apparently, according to the sketch, it doesn't look like it has webbed feet. But wouldn't that make more sense that the feet are longer fingered, I guess you would call it, than not if it was a underwater creature? Also, if that's what he drew, he's a very good artist. I just want to say, at 17, I was drawing stick figures and I was still learning how to draw those right. So this guy, he's got a little bit of skill. No worry, we'll get to the immediate source in just a moment. Don't you worry. So, back to this. He grew up around animals. You read that. This was no prank. Wasn't trying to be funny. Yeah. We have a credible case, and he convinced Coleman, who was the cryptozoologist guy, that this isn't a hoax. Nothing quite like the demon has been reported since before or after, he said. The Dover creature does not match the descriptions of the chupacabra or of Roswell aliens, except, and he says that, except for the head, because remember the Greys, and that whole idea of the Greys came from Roswell, and Roswell being the initial, I guess you would call it, creation of the populace's idea of what an alien looks like. That's where the egg shape came from, right? You have that round top and it comes down to a point. That's where that came from. Roswell. That's my understanding of it, at least. So he says it doesn't resemble it, but I don't know about you. That looks right there. That looks like an alien head. I'm just saying. Maybe it has a mucus layer on him, so that's why it doesn't dry on dirt instead of it drying on rocks. That's a good idea. I mean, that's a good point, rather. That's the other thing, too. So many creatures have mucus layers on them, and in them, obviously, that it would rather just, if it's going to sit there and be sticky, why be on dirt, right? It wouldn't make any sense from a logical standpoint, being a creature. Just be on the rocks. So, yeah, no, that's a good point. Where was I? It doesn't match any descriptions of Chupacabra or of Roswell aliens or of the bat-eared goblins said to have attacked a family in Hopkinsville, Kentucky in 55. Bat-eared goblins, huh? That's interesting. It doesn't really fit any place, end quote. Coleman said it's extremely unique. It has no real connections to any other inexplicable phenomena. Is it possible that the teens actually saw a foal or perhaps a moose calf, as some have suggested? Coleman said he has I cracked my back. Oh, okay, I feel better. Sorry. Coleman said he canvassed local horse owners after the incident and none reported missing a horse. Moreover, it was not foaling season, he said. As for the moose theory, which does make sense, it's April. As for the moose theory, only two moose were, is it not meese? I always thought the plural moose is meese. There. Only two moose were reported in Massachusetts in 77 and 78. Both of them in central Massachusetts, he said. A yearling moose by that time in April would weigh more than 600 pounds and be, quote, bigger than Volkswagen Bartlett was in, end quote, said Coleman. So again, this is a cryptozoologist guy just giving credence to the fact that if this was, it would have been much bigger than the car even he was in, let alone a baby calf, right? To have a bipedal moose with two long fingers and orange skin and no hair and no nose would be more of a phenomenon than a Dover demon, he said. That's fair, yeah. So what did those what did those teens see? It's okay to say we don't know, said Coleman. I think the Dover demon's mystery lives on it. It's an unknown phenomena whose fame has stretched worldwide, and I think Dover should be very proud, end quote. In Dover, a quiet community dotted with horse farms and one of the richest towns in the state, people are still not quite sure what to make of the story. That thing has haunted me for 29 years, said Carl Sheardon, a former police chief. I knew the kids involved. They were good kids, very, very reliable kids. God only knows, he said, what they saw. I still don't know. Strange things have happened. The whole thing was unusual. He got calls from all over the world when the case made the news, the former chief said, and he still does from time to time. The thing will not die. Well then, the thing will not die. That's ominous, to say the least. I mean, I know what he means. He means about like the legend, right? Like the legend won't die, but just saying that creature that we can't explain, I have no evidence of it. There's been no reporting since 77. That will not die. That's not the best choice of words. I'm telling you that they will not go away, he said. Again, that's the police chief. In Town Clerk Barry Close office at Town Hall, municipal reports share shelf space with a file of materials related to the Dover Demon case, including a book titled Weird New England and a newspaper clipping headlined Bizarre 4-Foot Creature with Orange Skin and Glowing Eyes Stalking a Town, end quote. Every once in a while, people will come in and ask about it, said Chloe. Chloa? I'll say Chloe. I have no idea if it's true or untrue. Downtown Dover was decorated recently with pumpkins as children arrived for a Halloween fair, and a steady stream of regulars bought coffee and newspapers at Isabella's, located in the old Dover pharmacy, now with an Italian deli counter added to the added to the old soda fountain. The grocery remains a town hub. Okay, behind the counter at Isabella's, Scott Bileski, 17, again, a teenager. And I'm not trying, okay, so the reason why I keep bringing it up is, so far, the only people who haven't been teenagers are either police, people who happen to live in a town that I guess have something to say about the high school, or the cryptozoologist. Everybody else that has to do with this are all younger people. And it's odd. It's a weird through line that I have to say that was the last thing that I expected from this whole Boston Globe thing, right? So I digress. So behind this counter, Isabella's Scott, I'm just gonna call him Scott, 17 of Dover, a senior at Dover Sherborne High, said the demon gives his small town a unique claim to fame. Home of the Dover demon has a nice ring to it, he said with a smile. As far as he knows, the creature had never been spotted into the soda. He has never stopped into the soda fountain. Let us know if he wants anything, he said. Ha ha ha. A customer who gave his name as Jimmy said he has lived in town for 4 years but has yet to see the demon. Maybe I will someday, he said. I'm one of those realists. If I don't see it, I don't believe it. Customer Ed Tortella, or Tortellit? I don't know. Ed. It's cousin Ed. All right, Ed. Of Dover said, I think it's probably as real as the Easter Bunny, but it's fun. That's fair. Nearly 3 decades after seeing something very strange on Farm Street, Bartlett has decidedly mixed feelings about the experience. It was my 15 minutes of fame without wanting it, he said. It was a little embarrassing, it still is, and he said he hasn't talked much to his own 2 children, 8 and 5 years old, about the creature. I don't want to scare them. And a professional artist has never drawn another picture of the thing he saw. I don't have enough memory of it, he said. I haven't wanted to. I'm a serious fine arts painter. I don't want people to think I'm some freak. I don't usually tell anybody. I should be embarrassed, but you see these people on TV and they're made to look like idiots, he said. I really do wish that I had made this thing up. I might have portfolioed from it. It's a great story. I wish it was seen again so everybody would know it was true. More about Dover Demon is available at the Strange New England website, strange.com/monsters@dover.html, or at lauren.com. All right, so that's the Boston Globe. That's their recording and reporting of the Dover Demon. But I am not satisfied because we have. No, I think this isn't web. Is this web 1.5? Let's see if this brings anything up. I doubt it. I really doubt it. Yeah. Although this is Strange New England, and remember there was a book published by Strange New England in that not broadcast, in that report, saying that they talk about the Dover Demon, right? So I wonder if there's any way. Ancient New England wildlife upcoming events. Let's try this, but get rid of the ending of it. Ah! All right, I'm proud of that. I don't know. I'm proud of that. I shouldn't be, but I'm proud of that. All right. So, now, that's cool. All right. So, we found the Dover Demon webpage on Wikipedia, and then that brought us to the Boston Globe report on it, and they're talking about Strange New England website talking about it. So, let's give this a quick overview. This is a lot. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Okay. So there's Bill's initial, yeah, this is Bill's original drawing of it. That should be the same. Okay. I don't know what I'm hitting. I don't know what I'm hitting. I don't want to edit. Alright, let's just... Alright. Anyways. Let's go... That is... Wow. Alright, so... I really just want to jump straight to the pictures, man. That's like the meat and potatoes of this whole page. Oh, this is so cool. Alright. So... What do we... So let's take a second. Back up. This is shorter than the Boston Globe at the very least. But let's take a step back, okay? And just take a quick breath and recap what we have. I know, that face is, ugh, I don't like it. So, we have a creature that was reported by a 17-year-old and two 15-year-olds, two of which, a 17 and one 15-year-old, reported on April 21st of 1977. The second one was a 15-year-old reporting it on April 22nd, 1977. All three reports were done on a road called Farm Street, which has a stone wall lining the road, and that stone wall borders between this road and seemingly a pond, or at least some sort of wet body of some sort. And that wet body is, I'm just saying, weirdly close to the Dover Demon, as the next time that this thing might have been spotted was by the 17-year-old again, Bill, who was with his girlfriend at that time in a car. We're not going to talk about that part. People do what people do. But there was a thud on the roof, and when Bill looked to see what that thud came from, it was a creature running away into the woods at night, again around 10 p.m. And all three of these, I think it said, were around nighttime. It was dark. It has orange skin, glowing eyes. I think it said orange glowing eyes. Could have been wrong about that, but it has glowing eyes, and it's tendril-like fingers. Three kids drew it. The three reports, all drew sketches of it. The most famous one being the very well drawn, for especially a 17-year-old, picture by Bill right here. And as you can see the egg-shaped head with the large circular eyes. I'm assuming those are supposed to be fingers right there. I don't know. And right here you can even kind of read it and make it out, where it says, "I, Bill Burr, swear on a stack of Bibles I saw this." So that's where we're at, okay? And, oh, right, and of course, how could I forget that there was also an apparition of Satan riding a horse on the same street back in the 16th century, and also that there's hidden treasure on that same street as well. So, this is a very positive family area for little kids, right? Right. And that was all gathered by a report written by the Boston Globe. Specifically, the report itself was written by Mark Sullivan, who was a Globe correspondent, on October 29th, 2006, 29 years after the initial sightings were reported to police. And we also have the chief of police who dealt with the case. I only do that because, like, I don't know if that's proper terminology, but I'm just going to call it a case, saying that the kids are reliable and that the kids are good kids. That's where we're at, all right? So, with all that in mind, this is now, I believe, the guy who was talking with Bill, who was a cryptozoologist, running this, and he put it into the Book of Strange New England. Remember, Dover, Mass, and we can see all the different... That one right there, that one freaks me out, but we'll get to that. And this is supposedly their reporting on the actual creature. So, let's get into this. On April 21st, 1977, in Dover, Massachusetts, an event took place that placed the town... actually, let me do... That's not going to help. Let's just go back to that. In Dover, Massachusetts, an event took place in the town Dover in the paranormal history books. Bill Bartlett and two friends were cruising around a small town enjoying the typical teenage conversations. Around 10:30, they began driving down Farm Street, as all stuff we know, along a winding road surrounded by woods and fields. Suddenly, Bill noticed an animal climbing over a stone wall to the left of the road. As they approached the creature, the headlight illuminated and froze in place like a startled deer. As it stared into the lights, Bartlett... Okay, now I don't recall... Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't recall him saying that he stopped the car. He could have. And maybe I missed that part. He said he turned on the headlights, and as it drove past... Because they didn't mention utility poles? That doesn't line up. Hold on. Where's my cursor? Okay. He saw it about 10 feet away. Over the duration it took the car traveling from one utility pole to the next. Two friends did not report seeing the creature. Alright. To me, that insinuates that he kept driving. He maybe tried to stop, but what they're saying here is, as they approached the creature, the headlight illuminated, and it froze in place like a startled deer. As it stared into the lights, he noticed that it had glowing orange eyes that resembled glass marbles. It looked like a baby's body with arms and legs. It had a big head about the same size as the body. It was sort of a melon-shaped, Bartlett said. He went on to describe it as having no facial features and a peach-colored skin with a texture like shark skin. I guess shark skin is just common knowledge as far as the texture. As he raced past the creature, he could see... Okay, so, I'm sorry. I was wrong. They're not insinuating anything there. He could see it clutching onto the rocks with long, spindly fingers. The other boys were busy talking and did not notice the creature. Bartlett dropped off his friends and went home to draw a picture of what he had witnessed. Later that evening, John Baxter, age 15, was returning home from his girlfriend's house around 10:30 a.m. Oh, now there's a time. 10:30 a.m., he reached the intersection of Miller Hill Road in Farm Street, where he knows someone about 150 feet away walking toward... Ooh, that's creepy. Walking towards him. John could see that this person had unusually large head. He thought it may be M.G. Bouchard, a young boy who had a deformed head due to a childhood disease. As he got closer, he called out to him, but there was no reply. Once he was close enough, he could see that it couldn't be Bouchard. It was far too small. I was... quote... I was about 15 feet away I was 15 feet away from it when I stopped, and it stopped, John said. We just stood there. I was looking at it, and I'm sure it was looking at me. I could barely see the shape of it. I said one more time, "Who is that?" John took one more step forward and quickly dashed into the woods. He could hear this thing making its way through the brush. Curious to discover who or what it was, John quickly followed. Right. You're just walking along past midnight from your girlfriends, and this deformed creature comes walking towards you. You stare at it. It says nothing. You take a step forward, it runs into the woods, and your first thought, you're telling me, is that you go chasing that thing into the woods? Okay. Alright. Hey, maybe you're brave. I'm not going to do that unless I'm with somebody. I'll tell you that much, alright? That's the way I'll put it. Just saying. I mean, hey, you know what? It's the 70s. I guess people were just built different back then, right? Alright, he could hear it making through his way through the brush, curious to discover who or what it was. John quickly followed behind it. Reaching the bottom of the embankment, he could see on the other side of a brook. He now could clearly see the outline of the creature's body. All these thoughts growing through his mind, John told investigators, you know, what is this? A monkey, maybe? As I was really close to it, there I could see the eyes. It was looking at me. I just stared at it another few minutes. Soon John began to feel very uncomfortable. You don't say! Like, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad here. You're going into the woods. You get to the bottom of an embankment. You look across a pond, and this thing is still staring at you, and now you feel uncomfortable? Alright. I got really comfortable. I got all these feelings that it was thinking to itself or waiting to spring or whatever, you know, and so I backed up the bank kind of fast, and my heart started beating really fast, and now he runs away. Right. He ran to Farm Street and got a ride home. That night, he drew a picture of the creature he had seen. It had glowing eyes and it strongly resembled the thing Bill had seen. That looks like it's still... Yeah, so these both... That's just the quote. I, Bill Bartley, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature. And then he signs that. And then this is also... Okay, and this is where they get that detail about the shark skin, right? Skin texture of a shark, and the color is like a peach, and the people, blah, 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 in the comics. Alright. Yeah, exactly. Right, Shaq? Like, that's courting death at that point. You're going Deadpool right there. I'm sorry. That's not normal behavior. I don't care who or what you are. That goes against, like, everything that nature should be telling you. Especially when you're 15 years old. That's the other thing, right? You're 15. You're curious. I could give you a little bit of a pass. Okay. All I'm saying. Dover would experience one more sighting of the strange creature the next night around midnight. Will Tainter, 18. New one. Okay. 18. Oh, no. Never mind. It's Abby. Was driving his girlfriend Abby Barbham, 15, home. While on Springdale Ave, Abby saw something at the edge of the bridge on the left-hand side of the road. As I looked at it, it kind of looked like a minute like an ape. Okay, sorry. She claimed, quote, and then I looked at the head, and the head was very big, and it was a very weird head. It had bright green eyes. Okay. Because remember, Bill said orange. But Bill also was staring at it through the headlights. Who knows what the situation was here. And again, midnight. These are all at night near a pond. Alright? I'm just saying, if anybody searched for this thing and didn't look into the pond and didn't look at night, you're missing the point of all these stories. While on Springdale Ave, she saw something. As I looked at it, it looked kind of like, for a minute, like an ape, she claimed. And then I looked at the head, and the head was very big and weird, blah, blah, blah. Green eyes, and the eyes just glowed like they were just looking exactly at me. Abby went on to mention that she assumed the creature's eyes might have been reflecting the car's headlights. Exactly. She described as having a tan, hairless body and a watermelon-shaped head that was featureless. Tainter only saw it for a brief moment crouched in the road. So her boyfriend at the time, 18, just realized, 18-year-old dating a 15-year-old. Maybe that's just how 70s were. I can't say I've ever heard that, personally, but hey, you know what? I'm here to talk about a demon from the depths of the ocean, it seems, not about people dating. She describes having a tan hairless body and a watermelon-shaped head that was featureless. Tainter only saw for a brief moment, crouched in the road. Both of them compared the size to that of a goat. That's the first time we have a true idea of how big this thing was. And that probably has a little bit of where people started talking about maybe it's a foal or it's a baby moose or a moose calf. Because if it's the size of a goat, you're not talking about like the size of maybe it's like cats where they reflect. Right, exactly. Especially if you ever taken a picture of a cat or even like an old photograph with red eyes, right? Because it's shining off the eyes. It could easily just have been reflection, but... And that would make sense, especially considering that now we know the size is a goat. So these aren't eyes like that, that big, the size of a cat's. These are big eyes, no matter what. Was that the end? Okay, I'm just gonna replay that. These are big eyes on a big creature. So realizing that oh, wait a minute, nope, I skipped ahead. She describes having a tin hero's body. Both of them criticize that I have a goat. This will be the last sighting of the creature, and it looks like this. This is her drawing. So tan color, green, a little lighter tan. I can't read the bottom of that. Yeah, I can't read that. But that's her showing of the creature, and you can compare that to this. Now, first of all, we know which two of these people went on to be an artist. And also, by the way, it makes a lot of sense now. Earlier I mentioned how impressive this is for a 17-year-old. He's now a fine arts person, so hey, that makes sense. But you could see, no offense, of course, also because she was also only 15. You can see that it has a longer body, but that's probably just to indicate the size of it being that of a goat, which again, that's news to us. But if it lives in the ocean deep, wouldn't the pressure of above sea level really mess it up? Well, that's the thing. I don't know how deep it is. All I know is that in either here or here, it mentions that the road is parallel to water. Actually, let's take a look at Farm Street ourselves. Why don't we do that? If I'm gonna start being pretty much an investigator here, embrace it. Am I right? So we are looking for water. Let's do satellite mode. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is the good stuff right here. So remember, we're still looking for Farm Street right here. Because I have been harping on it being near water a lot, but that's only because that makes the most sense. This is the high school that the woman was talking about, how during the 70s this high school had a lot of rumors going on about cryptids and whatnot. Oh, Farm Street goes up here. Oh, wait. Right here. There's a pond. I can't zoom in anymore. But there is a pond right there. Okay. So, if that's where it was, this Farm Street's huge. Goodness. So we have, what was the name of that pond? Lyman's. We have Lyman's Pond. Okay. And that is on Farm Street. Now, I didn't see any, unfortunately, Apple Maps is terrible, in my own opinion. I didn't see any stone walls, but also I can't really zoom in all that far. And it looks like Farm Street begins and ends with Charles River Street. Oh, wait! Charles River, but that's Main Street. Ah, it's Main Street. No! Okay, it's fine. Main Street. Farm Street. So Farm Street begins with Pagan Lane. And there's also a body of water right here. Now that's on property, but the fact that Farm Street goes through that is interesting. And actually, it looks like that might be a little bit of a cul-de-sac, so I doubt it would have been there unless he lives there. And I'm not trying to dox anybody, even if it was from 77, so I doubt that was it. So my best guess is where it happened probably would have been somewhere near Lyman's Pond. And if it's a pond, two things could be true there then, Shax. To talk about your theory with the head, is very likely. So, in my own illogical head, right? We know, of course, that over time, creatures, I guess you would call it, evolve to, they evolve to kind of adapt to their surroundings. And if this thing's old, because we don't know anything about this creature, so if it is a real creature, then more likely than not, it got the head from probably living underwater, and it's not a lot of pressure. Ponds usually aren't deep whatsoever, But that pond could easily, you know, if you're under there for, let's just play fantasy for a quick second. Let's say it's 300 years old, right? It's Yoda. No, it's a 900, but I digress. Yoda over here probably will have that pressure of the water start to squish it down a little bit. The other thing to note is he talked about in that drawing how it had shark-like skin, and right there, that's amphibious as well. And then on top of both of those, you have the eyes that are bigger. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I've never seen a fish with small eyes in person, at least. So all those, I stand by that. I believe that this creature, should it exist, probably lives not only in water, probably in Lyman's Pond. Oh wait, there's Farm Road. Oh yeah, but see, he specifically says Farm Street. Oh, near Bridge Street. Hold on. Bridge Street. Right there. Okay. So, you're near Bridge Street, so it was either at Lyman's Pond or Charles River. Those are interesting markings right there. That is very interesting. So somewhere in this vicinity, the Dover demon was spotted, and then it sounds like, according to, what was his name, John, they said the road somewhere here, 15 feet away, and it stopped. So Miller Hill, at the juncture of Miller Hill and Farm. So what I want to see is Miller Road near either of these places? Because if it is, actually, let's just do this. Let's do Miller. Did I fat finger? Yeah, fat finger. Okay. Miller Road. Right there. And there's Farm Street. That is Chenning's Pond. But where is... Right there. And look at that. Oh, look at that. So... Oh, I'm getting too excited. So... The Dover Demon was seen by... The Dover Demon was seen by Bill at the near Bridge Street, which is crossing over the Charles River, and next to, and remember, it said near Bridge Street, right? Which is next to Lyman's Pond, and then you have John looking at Miller's Road, Miller Hill Road, seeing the creature, and the creature dashes into the forest, and if you look, there is a line of trees, and this is probably new. I would have to also assume, because he's looking newer houses. I could be easily wrong there. I'm not an architect. He's looking at newer houses. I wouldn't be surprised if these were new buildings around the residential area. If he was here at the juncture, this all could have, in the 70s, this all could have been forest. So if that was forest, it makes sense, because on Farm Street, you have a pond right there, with a creature who has shark-like skin, glowing eyes, the size of a goat. Never seen, and look how remote this street is. And I mean, yeah, you do, okay, so you have Farm Pond over here, but Farm Street doesn't go near here. This is Farm Road, and they very specifically said Farm Street. So far, I just had a moment of clarity of what I'm about to say. So far, I hate to say it, these stories line up. The stories of a goat-sized creature with tendril octopus looking from the drawing fingers that has glowing eyes from 1977 being seen match up based on the vicinity of Lyman's Pond. I started YouTube doing Minecraft videos. Wow. All right. How's chat doing? How you guys doing? I love stories like these around lakes and ponds, like the Lake Bakel. I've never heard of that story. I'll have to look into that. That'll be something to look into another day, though. Don't you worry. I'm gonna remember that. So, okay. Sorry, I got a little excited. That's just like, whoo, man. Okay, so that's cool. Let's go back to Abby here. And yeah, so far nothing new with the drawings here. But so Mr. Tainter over here, he was driving Abby back, and Abby wants okay. Will Tainter, 18, was driving his girlfriend, 15, home, and as she looked at it at the edge of the bridge on the left-hand side of the road. The edge of the bridge. And look at what is right there. Look at what is near the pond. Look at what is within, I would argue, a couple miles of another story. And look at that. There is a bridge. And according to Abby, she saw the creature on the left-hand side. Wow. I see what they mean now. If you plot each point, it creates a 2-mile line. In which case, it is very likely, now that I think about it, that the creature could be either in the Charles River or in Farm Pond. But I doubt it would have been the river. So it's probably, I'm standing by Lyman's, but it could easily be farm. I think tendrils would suggest that it is adapted for underwater grabbing. Exactly. Orange skin could be an indicator for its diet, like flamingo. Yeah, exactly. So the orange skin could easily be affected by what it eats, right? And as we all know, sea creatures, they have weird colored skin because of their diet. So, and other factors, well, not just the diet, but like you said, their diet. So this all lines up. It's a rough textured creature with big eyes that glow and has weird coloration to it with tendril fingers that is near 3 bodies of water pointing from an intersection where it gets chased by a 15-year-old kid who seems to have a lack of self-preservation. I feel that kid. Down towards the bridge on Bridge Street over and over. Wow. All right. So there's not a lot there that contradicts. I hate to say it, not a lot there contradicts. Let's get back to Strange New England. All right. So realizing other people, I think the beginning of this whole video is a little bit louder. So this would be the last sighting of the creature. Realizing other people had seen the same creature he had witnessed, Bill ran off copies of his drawings and began to hand them out. He hoped that he might find others to corroborate his story with their own experiences. Over the next month, several local papers ran stories concerning the sightings. On May 16th, the Boston Herald and the Boston Globe ran stories on the Dover Demon. Bill's unusual experience became big news. It is a trail of breadcrumbs. We knew about Boston Globe, and now we have the Boston Herald. All right. Bill's unusual experience became big news. Since then, there have been many theories as to what the demon was. Some people believe it has a strong resemblance to the alien beings witnessed in many UFO sightings. Exactly. The demon also has many similarities to a creature the Cree Nation of Eastern Canada call... Ooh. Let me just drop that down. All right. So, okay. I got goosebumps. Wow. That is shocking. Wow. Okay. Wow. 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 All right. We're gonna continue. That if you're listening, so this is a video on demand. If you're listening to this in the background, if you can't look at what I'm seeing on screen, it is exactly what the drawings were of in the story of the Dover Demon. Wow. So, and of course, okay, so of course we get people like saying, okay, yeah, this is what it was, this is what it was, this is what it was. We are going to definitely take a look at that in a little bit. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We're going to finish off with this, though, because I'm excited to see what all this is about. So, since then, there have been many theories as to what Dover Demon was, UFO sightings, and Menegishi. Menegishi? I'm going to say Menegishi. It may also be possible that Bill had seen an undiscovered natural species, naturally mutation or hybrid that has not been cataloged by scientists. Martin S. Kottmeyer suggested that they had actually seen a young moose. I don't know about that. As we talked about, it wasn't full season. And it wasn't, the moose by then in April, they would be a lot bigger. So I don't think it was a moose. The full, I don't know. The whole thing, I don't think it's either of those. Location of the eyes and absence of a nose or mouth fit the description of the head of a young moose. Each sighting was brief in the darkness of the night exactly. Under such conditions, a person's imagination can easily play tricks on them. You may never know the truth, so next time you're driving through Dover, keep your one eye on the road and the other out for the Dover Demon search with them. So, okay, now let's just quickly go over this. Floyd from November 27, 2018 says, I've seen it back in February 2018 around the Super Bowl. I woke up at 4:29 and I looked over to my right and I seen it. It was direct eye contact for about 11 seconds. Then it slowing went on my top bunk. It were slim in the photos. It had the orange eyes and it was black. If you just woke up and it was in your room, that's sleep paralysis. Thankfully, there have never been any strange animals in my room at night. Michael says. All right. So let's take a look at. Yeah, they're creepy. I know. That's unbelievable. If I had to guess, that's probably John, because remember John was the individual who had chased through the forest, right? And this was Abby, who had seen it on the bridge. And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say the bridge on Bridge Street over the Charles River. And this is Bill, who had seen it, and I'm going to assume, I shouldn't assume, but it makes perfect sense, that he had seen it on a rock wall near Layman's Pond. So all of those combined, we do unfortunately have one more piece of breadcrumb that I feel very obligated to chase. And I say unfortunately because we have yet to actually look into what this thing is. We're going to get to that. But we're going to look up the Boston Herald Dover Demon. The Dover Demon. Okay, so this doesn't seem like a whole lot. Yeah, okay, so I'll just run through this real quick. Not a whole lot here. This is 08. So, April 77, over a 2-day span, 3 teenagers caught a glimpse of an odd creature in Dover, Mass. One of them, Bill, gone 15 feet, called the Dover Demon, as it came to be known by the cryptozoologist that we know about. And 2 years later, Barrett told a Globe writer that he stands by his story. 2 years? Wasn't that 29? Some cryptozoologists accept that the Dover Demon is a classic cryptid according to a Wikipedia entry on the DD, on the Dover Demon. Yep, that's the same one we opened. And why do I mention the Dover Demon now? I'm going to Dover sometime next month for a visit, and I'm hoping to catch a glimpse. Alright. So, that didn't have a lot. To chase down. So, let's now... So, okay. We have... Where are you? So we have... Whoops. Excuse me. A picture drawn by the 17-year-old Bill, who pretty much kicked this whole thing off. By just being the one everyone talked about. And this is the picture drawn. We have a picture drawn by 15-year-old female Abby, who had drawn this. This one gives a bit more emphasis on the size of a goat. There are a couple similarities here that you don't really see at first, I think. Number one is the back. From the head to the body is very long. Now remember, 17-year-old guy who ends up becoming a fine arts painter compared to 15-year-old stick figure. I gotta be honest, this is me right here. So, not the picture, obviously, unless maybe ooh. So this is Abby's, and as you can see, the back is very long. I would even argue that that seems accurate to the length being described by the picture drawn by Bill. And then you have the where did that one go? In my opinion, the creepiest one. Whoops. The creepiest photo. And this seems to be by John, who had chased it in the woods because of whatever reason that compelled a 15-year-old to chase a creature to the woods that didn't speak and didn't react. It almost looks like, call me crazy. Well, you can call me crazy. But it almost looks like the toes are long tendrils on the toes, doesn't it? Or is that, because I mean, they're both, this is also a 15-year-old's drawing, so, you know, I still draw toes pretty rough, but that does look similar to this. I'm just trying to point out those long kind of appendages. That is absolutely a common theme here. So that's interesting. And through a little bit of investigative work, I would call it, it seems like the Dover Demon absolutely lives somewhere in this range, and if not, is just was passing through in the 70s. Could also be a little farm pond, and that seems like all the bodies of water, except for what's this guy over here, Chenning's Pond. Yeah, so it could also be Chenning's Pond. But my point is, anywhere in this whole vicinity, there's plenty of water. This creature has shark-like skin and glowing eyes. It was seen on the bridge on Bridge Street on the left-hand side by a 15-year-old female. It was chased into the woods for whatever reason by a 15-year-old male. It was on Farm Street next to Miller Hill Road, chased into the woods until they hit an embankment, which I'm gonna struggle to find. And it was seen by a 17-year-old male who just saw it sitting on a stone wall, seemingly near Bridge Street, which also happens to be right next to a pond, which is right up the road, like not even a 2-minute drive from where it was seen on the bridge. So that is the Dover Demon in and of itself. It seems like this is almost the end of the trail, except for the drawings. Okay, so I don't know how I got to the page. How did I get there? Right here. Immediate source we have 2 articles here talking about the Dover demon, one of which is on Cryptopia. I get the feeling Amogus. I get the feeling that I'm starting to go into a bit unsafe territory with the links here, but you know, whatever. Oh, this is a lot. Oh. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. Okay, so this one's a lot, and then we have a second news source. I'm sorry. Let me open that in a separate tab. And then we have a separate news source talking about this. And these are whoa. All right. Wait, is this the same? Oh, okay, this is it. Yeah, okay. So there's probably a little bit more history here. Oh, and there's Bill. Oh, I'm sorry. There's John. This is there's no other way to put it. This is the Chad. All right, who just ran after the thing in the woods. Why not? John Baxter and his demon sketch, copyright image, unexplained, 96. Okay, so this is 1996, so that would put him 77. I don't know. I can't do the math. But anyways, so yeah, the image is also owned by Lauren, who is the guy. So this is a picture of the kid who chased the demon into the woods, taken by the cryptozoologist. And the actual, so here's the sketch that we've been based off of, but here is the actual sketch done by the 15-year-old himself right here. And of course, I have to do this. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. This is it right here. This is a bit better definition. Separate sheet, please. Something map of the area silhouette. I think that's what it says. So it's standing on rocks. You can definitely see the toes are very long. It's a silhouette holding onto a tree. And then here is a more refined version. And is this the one that he's holding in the picture? It looks like it. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So then he later went back, I guess, and redrew the sketch that John drew initially. So we have eyes glowing faintly. It's a silhouette. The feet fold to the rocks right there, which matches Bill's description of the fingers being long. Fingers grabbing tree, as seen by John Baxter on the evening of Friday, April 22nd at 12:30 a.m. All right. So, this matches up perfectly with Bill. And so when I started reading about this, I just want to mention my initial thought was 3 teenagers all claiming within a day of each other that they saw a creature unexplainable. That just sounds like a bunch of kids getting together and making a hoax, right? Like, come on. But looking at all this, how the detail is in John and John's drawing compared to Bill's, it is so similar. And 15-year-old Abby's drawing of it herself is similar enough, even though it's extremely basic. I would be surprised if this was all planned out as a hoax also, because here's the other thing, right? I'm starting to disprove my own initial thought at the beginning of the stream, but let's pretend like we're talking to somebody who believes that this was a hoax. If it was, you're telling me that 3 teenagers all came up with the idea of looking at the map and saying, okay, Abby, you were driving with an 18-year-old boyfriend whose name is Will Tatum on Bridge Street, and you saw the creature on the left-hand side near the Charles River and also close to Farm Street. Bill, I looked at near Lyman's Pond and towards the street, saw on a rock wall a creature. And you all remember the features of the creature, right? All right, good. And then John, you decide to chase the creature into the woods, and you did this on Miller Hill Road next to Farm Street. But that's not too far, because remember, this is a creature with shark-like skin. So it is near the Charles River and Lemons Pond, and that will give us a 2-mile radius. Within a 2-mile radius, how would it be possible for it to not live around the area? Because we also have the option of Channing's Pond, should anybody question us. Do we really think that somebody could do that? I mean, I don't know about you guys. When I was 15 years old, I was lucky if I remembered how to tie my shoe. Like, I mean, not really, but you get my point. Like, I highly doubt that this was... I'm starting to believe that this was not a hoax. Which, an hour and a half ago, I didn't think I was going to say. But, you know... Alright, so I'm going to just run through these 2 sites really quickly. See if there's anything interesting. And just kind of jump around and see. So, Baxter drawing the creature, noticing on 2 feet rather than 4. Until my hate mail inbox clears up, I think I'll stay away from writing about alien abductions and UFOs for a little while. On the other hand, it seems like what people want to read. Between my last 2 articles, I received 50 emails and been listed on fark.com. But enough bragging. How many of you could say a grammatically poor essay you wrote while sitting on the John has been read by 20,000 people? For now, instead, I'd like to honor the request of layout staffer Pat Zing and look more closely at the tale of the Dover Demon. April 1977, town Dover, Massachusetts, 317. No, not 317-year-olds. Oh, wait. Yes, it is 317. I'm sorry, because that was Bill driving with his 2 other friends. Driving down a lonely road. One of them, Bill Bartlett, noticed a creature near a wall of stones. The thing turned and looked into the headlights with large, shiny, glowing eyes, brightly like orange marbles. It had a large overhead, and that was easily as large as his body. On top of a spindly neck, the body was, like mine, quite lanky, and it had 2 hands and feet, all similar to myself. The creature was hairless and appeared to have rough, pale skin, similar to texture sandpaper. It was only in view for a few seconds while no one else in the car saw it. Besides, saw a little beastie. They all agreed Bill was genuinely distraught. Left is Bill Bartlett's original sketch. Right, a later image with added color. All right, that's fair. So now we can see a little bit of how it does look a little bit more like a shark skin, right? It's really unlikely for them to group like that and line up the story. Remember that they are kids, teenage kids. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, it wouldn't make sense for this hoax to be done by kids this elaborately. I mean, it's a lot of details, right? When he returned home that night, he drew a picture of the monster, later to be dubbed the Dover Demon by a local newspaper. I thought it was done by... Again, this is just whatever. When his father noticed that he was rather upset over the course of the night, 2 more sightings occurred before the thing ambled back into the mystery from whence it came. A 15-year-old named John Baxter sighted a Dover Demon while walking home from his girlfriend's house, at first mistaking it for a very short friend of his. Accounts state that this creature was less than 4 feet tall. Baxter, being braver than I, got a good look at it. I would have run scrambling to the knife for a few minutes. It had toes and fingers, then it wrapped around a tree trunk and rocks as it stood, perhaps. Observing Baxter return despite seeing it for a long period of time, it was late at night, and his best sighting was of the creature momentarily silhouetted against the field. A drawing made by Baxter similar to one on top. Alright, yep. The next night, a young man, Will Tainter, was driving his girlfriend of his home when she spotted the creature. The girl, Abby Barbham, described it as being down on all 4s, hairless, and having glowing green eyes. The witness stuck to her guns even after it became known. Barlow described it as orange. Barbham's original sketch, which looks to me like a giant wiener dog. That's cute. That description. What explanation is there for such a creepy little monster prowling the streets at night? Generally speaking, the community of the people interested in such things draw the conclusion that Dover Demon was an alien stranded for some reason on Earth temporarily. They even go so far as to identify monsters sighted in other parts of the world as Dover Demons. The first example of this that comes to mind is the incredibly fuzzy photo of a man on a horse. Whoa, I just saw that. Whoa, okay, I see that. From South America. That shows a little critter vaguely similar to a Dover Demon crossing the road in the background. That's creepy. I don't want to zoom in on this. No, I don't want to zoom in on this. Yeah, oh, that's creepy. Ew. Whew, that's creepy. I gotta say, it does have the right skin tone and the right body features and everything else. Yeah. The aforementioned photo, notice tiny creature to the right of left horseman. The image is too fuzzy to be of any real use. A prodigious leap of faith is required to assume it to be authentic. It does also easily look like it could be photoshopped. Importantly, there was no UFO activity in the area on the night in question. Had there been strange lights in the skies reported in and around Dover that night, the Dover Demon as an alien argument might hold water to some extent, but that didn't happen. None of the things that UFO enthusiasts normally point to as proof of alien contact occurred in this case, with the exception of people seeing something really weird. This led to development of a second explanation that is slightly better. The Dover Demon was not in fact a space alien, but was rather some manner of fairy. Wasn't there a mention of a fairy earlier? I thought there was. This explanation, though far from satisfactory, is better due to two things. First, the Dover Demon does not resemble anything else reported in UFO cases. It has some vague resemblance to the standard gray alien, exactly, the gray man, being a quadruped, with shining eyes certainly makes this resemblance no more than passing at best. Some claim it resembles the hop-skin goblins, but since they stood on two legs, had triangular heads, and wore clothing, I have a hard time seeing it. That's fair. There is much less evidence for fairies. People report them infrequently at best. There's certainly nowhere near as many descriptions of fairies as there are space aliens, naturally. So one could argue that the fact that does it not resemble previous fairy reports is not quite as substantial as as substantial a problem with that theory. Also, when dealing with fairies, one gets into an entirely different realm of thought, but I think you meant it right, of thought. Whereas the space aliens are generally considered to be biological entities from distant planet, fairies have more of a magical aspect to them and could theoretically change shape, have glowing eyes, so on and so forth. There's a lot more wiggle room when talking about rather more magical world of fairies than the mundane world of spaceman. All the witnesses to this creature have been reported as credible witnesses, and none have ever altered their story. However, Bill Bartlett had a teacher who warned investigators that, quote, if I was to pick someone to pull something like this, it would be Bartlett. That being said, investigations were on the scene fairly rapidly, so it's unlikely that the memory is graded or changed between the incident and the investigation. I don't know where his source is for that, but I think, when was this written really quickly? I just want to see. I can't tell. There's no date for that. Well, it's alright. It's a .htm, so I'm going to assume it's a little bit older. Either way. One problem with any supernatural explanation for this event is the glowing eyes. One witness swears they were orange, another green, another that they did not glow at all. The two that reported that the eyes were glowing and thus more likely to be out of the worldly origin were in automobiles when their sighting occurred. If you've ever had a pet that shined a flashlight on, I had cats as a child, you've seen the phenomenon called eye shine. This occurs when light from, say, a flashlight or the headlights of a car enters the eye of an animal, reflects off of the back of the eye, and comes back out through the eye. With my cats, their eyes would glow in orangey blue. A wide range of colors are possible through this effect, which perfectly explains the glowing eyes. They were just normal biological animal eyes that were glowing because of the headlights of a car. I think that's what you were saying, Shax, earlier, is that they were both in cars. So, of course that they were talking about eyes glowing. You're making them glow. Celtic fairies. Yeah, that's been something I haven't thought about in a long time, too. Celtic fairies. That's going to be on the list. Don't you worry. Without the glowing eyes, what do we have? Some sort of animal is most likely. All the original witnesses, those spooked by the thing's appearance, originally thought they had just seen some sort of weird animal, some sort of weird but perfectly terrestrial animal. Some theorized that the creature was in fact a fox that had contracted a disease of some sort that caused severe swelling and bloating. Others had theorized that the creature was in fact a baby moose. Martin Cottemier, went to great lengths explaining why he thought this, and Lauren Coleman went to equally great lengths explaining why this wasn't true. My main problem with this theory was that it was reported to be standing on two legs by Baxter. However, it is unreasonable to theorize that if it were indeed a moose, it was feeding from the upper parts of a tree and that was just leaning on it with its two front legs. That's a very good point. Image accompanying Cottemier's original article, Demon Moose, with the original caption reading "Moose" based on photos in whatever. Bernard Grismy's Animal Life Encyclopedia. Moose based on photos. Yeah, right there. So there's a moose, I guess. And, I get what they're saying in that it has a similar shape, size, body. It does look like it kind of looks like the size of a goat. But I have a hard time with it. I really do. First of all, it's April. It's cold. If there was a baby moose, where was the mother moose or father moose? And thirdly, it's so remote. and that could be used to help explain it. I don't know. I have a hard time with that one, but I'm not going to put it out of question. I have a hard time with it. Who's right? Not only do I not know, I doubt that the issue will ever be properly settled. The event was too long ago, and the only way to know for sure what happened would have been to set up a dragnet operation to sweep the area for bloated foxes, baby moose, space aliens. Of course, had officials done this at the time, rather than just let the local newspapers sensationalize the hell out of it and a mundane explanation been found, we would now be debating the government's cover-up of the Dover demon instead of Oive. Three teens, a rural area, got quick glimpses of something late at night on a back road. The best witnesses saw the thing for maybe 5 seconds from a moving car. There was no UFO activity near. The thing did nothing supernatural there, then just stand there. No other creature had vaguely similar had ever been spotted elsewhere in the world. Ask yourself the following question: which is more likely? That a bunch of teens saw some sort of animal that space aliens conquered the non-trivial challenge of interstellar travel and decided to take up the hobby of giving rural teenagers the Ghiblies be seeing you. I get what he's saying, I do, but yeah, exactly, Shax. A baby moose without his mother is really unlikely. It really is. It really, really is. So, I get it. I'm not going to agree. But that was one of 2 files. That was where the immediate source came from for this photo. And the second immediate source, I'm curious. Purpose of use in the article demonstrating the appearance of Dover Demon, not replaceable with free media because, as an authentic scan, the original sketch by the first witness of the Dover Demon, this image is not replaceable by free content. Any image that shows the same sketch will be also copyrighted, and any version that is not truly original will be inadequate for identification or commentary. The image has a low size, low resolution, and is used in one article only. This copy is of sufficient resolution for commentary and identification, but lower resolution than the original sketch. The image does not limit the ability of any copyright owners to sell or profit. Yeah. Nothing else on this page. Just had to reread and make sure I wasn't missing anything. And then we have the cryptopia.us, and of everything that we've looked at so far, these guys seem to take it the most seriously. More inclined to believe the moose theory that in the group are still perpetuating a hoax after all these years. Yes, but you would figure 29 years later in the Boston Globe article, there would have been some sort of like, hey guys, maybe we should cool the jets with this, or one of them would just come up and squeal. And secondly, it's 2022. Like, I'm not saying that they would be unable to keep this hoax going for so long. Were they hoaxing? But it feels pointless to do that. I guess for fame, right? And the guy, Bill, did say that he gets phone calls every Halloween because of his sighting of this cryptid, the Dover Demon. But at the same time, like, if you just, like I said earlier, if you just take one look at this 3 stories in combination with each other, from being seen near a pond to from being seen at Layman's Pond to being seen on the bridge not far away whatsoever on Bridge Street to being chased down the woods again by a 15-year-old kid who I would call a little bit psycho, but I mean at the same time, 15-year-olds, what are you going to lose? You got superpowers at 15. You can heal anything at that point. Like, I don't know. For teenagers, that would have been such a difficult hoax to perpetuate and to keep going and to, like, keep up the details. And, like, yeah, it's possible that these... I mean, look, I will also give you, if you're, say, a skeptic, that these 3 drawings could have easily been drawn by the same kid. Certainly, he grew up to become an artist. But at the same time, like, the handwriting is different, too. Like, if you look at the way that the S is written at an angle right there on, like, every single one, every single S on the whole thing, and how everything is very angular on the writing, compared to this, everything's rounded. Everything's almost like it's so orbular, so circular, so orbular. I don't think these were made by the same person, and if they were, then I'm impressed, even more so than I thought I would be. So we got 3 different drawings. I'm going to assume by 3 different people, all perpetuating a story from 3 different people who are the people who draw those 3 different drawings, that all 3 stories match up perfectly to this. Like, I don't think it's a hoax. So I'm going to put my foot down here. Not to mention its biology lines up with its living space. Exactly. It had, according to these, all 3 of these people, it has a pale peach color. Well, what do we have right here? Layman's Pond, right next to where it was seen, near Bridge Street, which goes over a road before it was chased downward. I don't know where downward would be in connection to this, but I'm assuming because John said that he saw it at Miller Hill Road. Well, look at right here. Even if it went this way, you have Channing's Pond, and up here, even then up here, you have water. Like, so you have pale skin that is discolored with shark-like texture to the skin itself, on top of huge glowing eyes with an elongated head. All near water. Like, I'm sorry. Moose don't have discolored skin. They have fur. Not sandpaper-like quality. Is it possible that they missaw, given the fact that these were all sightings done in a car, except for one? Yeah, but what's the possibility of 3 different kids all saying that it has pale textured skin and not fur? I mean, kids love furry things. Okay, modern day verbs just took me out of that sentence I just said. I'm going to retract that. Modern, kids everywhere, they love cute fuzzy animals. Not going to say furry. They love cute fuzzy animals. So, where in the possibility would it be that 3 kids saw something that had rough, light-colored skin that had texture and not fur? I'm just saying. And the huge eyes, too. Like, moose have big eyes, but if it's a baby moose, the eyes are not that big. So, alright, I think we're going to give this one a read. We're going to quickly look into this thing because, I'm sorry, this looks exactly like it. And you could even tell, like, it's almost obvious to me that a lot of, like, right there, you know what I mean? People seem very confident that whatever they saw was one of these critters. But, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to read into it because if it's like an old... If it's it's a folklore thing and there's a lot of different people to it. We'll give this one a quick read and then we'll start to kind of slowly wrap up. But for now, let's go through this article. So, going into this article, keep in mind, creature, not a hoax. Kids were being honest. They were being serious. That's my opinion. And they all saw something that they can't explain. And let's see what they have to say about it over on Cryptopia. This enigmatic, good start. This enigmatic entity has fascinated investigators since 1977. Also, this was March 2010. So 12 years ago. This is also the most recent one, I think, so far. Unless the other one was recent, but again, there was no actual date on the article that we just read. My back hurts, so we'll see. When in just 2 days, no less than 6 eyewitnesses, 6. Okay, 3 in the car. 1 running after it, 2 in a car. That math checks out. Claim to have encountered this bizarre melon-headed creature. The extraordinary story begins on April 21st, 1977, when at approximately 10:30 p.m. a young boy by the name of Billy Bartlett, Billy works, I guess. It is a nickname for Will and or Bill, along with 2 friends, were driving down Farm Street near Dover, Massachusetts, as teenagers drove past a loose stone edifice known as the Farm Street. What? You know what I'm about to do. The Farm Street Wall in Dover, MA. No? Alright. Never mind. That's probably one of those things where, like, the community in town just came up with it. And if you're not from there, because is this Is this a rent? Is this a piece of Yeah, it's a piece of property, not a piece of not piece of nature, basically. So that unfortunately doesn't bring us anywhere. Known as a farm street wall, Bartlett had noticed some movement out of the corner of his eye. At first, he assumed that the motion was caused by a dog or some other indigenous animal, but as his headlights bore down on the creature, he realized that it was nothing like he had ever seen. Bartlett would later describe this enigmatic entity. It was not a dog or cat. It had no tail. It had an egg-shaped head. We have read this quote before. It looked like a baby's body with long arms and legs. It had a big head and about the same size as the body. It was sort of melon-shaped. The color of it was the color of people in the Sunday comics. Bartlett had also stated that the creature had large orange eyes and a hairless body with what appeared to be a rough-textured epidermis and a distended stomach. He further elaborated that this animal had large hands and feet complete with elongated digits, which Bartlett claimed the creature used to grasp the loose rocks along the wall. Later, Bartlett drew a picture of the thing next to the wall and annotated the illustration with this quote: "I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature." As if this account weren't fascinating enough, just 2 hours later, so approximately 1 mile away, 15-year-old John Baxter, while walking down lonely stretch of road en route from his girlfriend's house, spotted what he had described as a childlike figure moving toward him from down the street. When the figure spied Baxter, it apparently fled into the woods adjacent to the road. Baxter, fearing for the welfare of what he assumed was a sadly deformed neighborhood boy, pursued... That poor kid, man. Oh, man. Now you're just remembered as the kid who looked like an alien. Poor kid. When the figure spied Baxter, yeah. It wasn't long before Baxter lost sight of the figure and finally halted at the bank of a shadow gully to catch his breath. According to his own account, it was then that Baxter's gaze fell across the gully and he was treated to his first clear view of the creature, which was purportedly leaning against a tree across the gap. Baxter later described the following harrowing moments: "As I was looking really close that I could see the eyes of looking at me, I just stared at it for another few minutes, and then I just got all these thoughts. Maybe it was something really strange because, nothing ever happened to me like this before, so I didn't know what to think. So I finally got the thought that maybe it wasn't as safe as it looked, because the way it was staring at me, it just seemed like it was, I don't know, I got all these feelings that it was thinking to itself or waiting to spring or whatever, and I backed up the bank kind of fast. My heart started beating really fast. Remember the bank that he chased this freaking thing down. Baxter, who left the forest in a panic, drew the animal that night and later described the creature to authorities, giving a description which matched Bartlett's account down the last detail, including the huge orange eyes. In the ensuing media circus, Baxter insisted that he had reported the encounter without any prior knowledge of Bartlett's sighting. Fair. The third and final encounter that residents of Dover would have with this creature occurred the following evening on the 22nd of April. They don't say that, but I do, because that's what we know. I lost my place. By 15-year-old Abby Barbham and 18-year-old Will Tainter. They claimed the creature in question was thin and sitting on all fours on the side of the road near the edge of a bridge. Barbham compared the beast to a bulbous head, hairless primate. As I looked at it, it kind of looked like It kind of looked a minute like an ape, and then I looked at the head, and the head was very big, and it was just weird head. It had bright green eyes, and the eyes just glowed like they were looking exactly at me. Almost all the eyewitnesses were asked separately, of course, to sketch the creature, which they had seen. The results were outstanding, to say the least. The only discrepancy between Barbham's and Tainter's accounts and those which were given the night before was the fact that Barbham insisted eyes were not orange, previously described, but green. Second drink water here. Excuse me. Some investigators have pointed out that light reflecting off of an animal's eyes, especially headlights, often creates an entire spectrum of hues, and that has minor differences in no way devalues the eyewitness testimony. And this problem is often faced by skunk ape investigators, who more often than not have to rely on testimony given by motorists passing these creatures in the dead of night. That is the skunk ape right there. This will be a future episode. Also, I'm going to say right now, I haven't had this much fun on YouTube in a long time. Thank you, Shax, for being here, and Cam, and Mace Dog, and everybody else who's shown up at some point. And if you're listening to us as a VOD, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is so much fun. I haven't had this much fun in so long. This is really cool. I love this. I'm going to do more. That is 100% set in stone. I don't know when, but I promise once a week I will be doing this. I will post a video describing a schedule in the future, but I can promise you right now, this is going to become a normal thing for my channel. Anyways, thank you. Also, as soon as news of this event was reported, investigators Lauren Coleman, who interviewed all the primary eyewitnesses within a week of the sightings and has been credited with coining the name Dover Demon, Ed Fogg and Walter N. Webb, descended on the region in order to collect as much evidence as possible. All three investigators came to the conclusion that there was no evidence of a hoax. We have a credible case over 25 hours by individuals who saw something. Nothing quite like the demon has been reported since or before or since rather. The Dover creature does not match the descriptions of the chupacabras or of Roswell. We already read all this, blah, 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 in Kansas. Or the bat-eared goblins that attacked a family in 1955. It doesn't really fit any place. Extremely unique, has no real connections. Okay. In an interview with American Monsters, Coleman summed up the entire event. The short story, no pun intended, is that over a 2-day period in April 1977, 4 people saw a small 4-foot-tall orange shark-skinned creature, somewhat like Gollum in Lord of the Rings, and parenthesis there. In 3 separate sightings in Dover, Massachusetts, a rural location near Boston. The case goes down as unexplainable. I don't know the answer to what really happened, quote, end quote, as all the eyewitnesses checked out and were found to be credible by law enforcement and other people in Dover. Coleman also theorized that the large geographical outcropping in the woods, Farm Street, which local historians refer to as the Polka Stone, might actually be a mispronunciation of a puka stone, which is related to the fairies of Celtic folklore in general, and more specifically to a particularly nasty beast of aquatic enigma. Every time that I feel like we hit some sort of like, we're all like, this is the last link. This is the last link. There is nothing more than this. We have read 4, 5, 6 articles now. This is it. There can't be anything more. Right there, more specifically to a particularly nasty breed of aquatic enigma associated with the infamous Gaelic predator known as the Irish crocodile. Oh, man. Oh, God. It's like every time that there's nothing left, there's a whole new door, and if you take a step in, you're just gonna get lost. Because what have we been saying about this creature? This creature is aquatic. It has shark-like skin. It's got textured skin. It has a large head with glowing eyes and long tendril fingers, all of which are aquatic features and other aquatic animals. And this thing is located near 4 different bodies of water, all encircled by a 2-mile radius, in woods and possible swampland as well. And right here, the puka stone related to fairies of Celtic folklore that we talked about earlier, and more specifically, an aquatic Irish crocodile called the Dover. What else is there to say? This is, wow, this is so cool. This is so cool, man. This is so freaking cool. Oh my God. All right. Let me check the chat here. Yeah, I will. Don't worry. Don't you worry, Cam. I will make this a series. Yeah, no, thank you, Lord Shax. I really appreciate you being here today. It gets even bigger. It doesn't stop getting bigger. Oh, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, I'll be right back. I have to blow my nose. I should have brought my tissues over here. 1 second. All right. We're back. Oh, man. Crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. In what may be a totally unrelated incident, Bartlett claimed that the year following his sighting, he was in a park, and he was parked with his girlfriend in a remote area when he heard a thump on his car, and when he turned, he saw that he spied a small figure leaving the scene. Although Bartlett will not speculate as to whether this was a return of the Dover Demon, he remains unsure of what banged on the car. Insert joke here. I'm not going to get into that. After 1977 occurrences hit the news, another eyewitness, Mark Senat of Sherborne, came out of the woodwork, claiming that he and his friends may actually have been the first seated Dover demon in an event which reported to the local authorities, although nothing came of it. According to Senat, him and his friends were cruising in Springdale, and this was the 72 incident that we read about, where they saw a strange creature in the forest. I don't know if we really saw something. We thought we did. We saw a small figure deep in the woods moving at the edge of a pond. Again, the edge of a pond. We could see it moving in the headlights. We didn't know it could have been an animal. I'm telling you, if this thing is real, this is an aquatic freaking animal. And anybody who researched this and went on scene, if they didn't look in the water or around the water, I got nothing. I don't know what kind of research you're doing, because in the last 2 hours, I feel like we have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. Whatever this is an animal that likes water. Cryptic or not. I'm going to replay this one more time. Yeah. This is crazy. I don't know if we really saw something. I read that. In October 29, 2006, the Boston Sunday Globe, this is the article that we first started out with after the Wikipedia, published an interview with the then 46-year-old Bartlett, who, though often tormented by curiosity seekers, has not wavered on his bizarre tale regarding what he saw on the farm street that night. Even 29 years after the event, Bartlett continues to insist that he had an eerie encounter with a humanoid creature approximately 4 feet in height with glowing orange eyes and no apparent nose or mouth on its watermelon-shaped head. In a lot of ways, it's kind of embarrassing to me. I definitely saw something where I read all this. People who know me know I don't make things up. That's just him right there saying, I'm trustworthy, and you can ask people, I am trustworthy. As to the identity of Dover Demon, it's difficult to speculate, although it is often associated with ufology, ufology, whatever. Due in no small part to the fact that this creature's physiology is vaguely similar to a notorious race that aliens commonly refer to as the Greys. The fact remains that there were no reported UFO sightings in the area at the time. That having been said, there is a consensus among most investigators that this unidentified entity is likely a visitor from out of this world. I don't agree with that personally. If it is, then who knew that aliens like water? Whatever this creature was or not, this strange case has mystified cryptozoologists, ufologists, I guess, and Fortean investigators for decades. Now firmly entrenched in paranormal lore, the Dover Demon has become a pop culture icon, with this likeness appearing in both video games and Japanese figurines. Again, where? Although it must be noted that it nor any of its ilk have been reported again in Dover area. Carl Sheardon, who was chief of police during the Demon Flap and remembers all too well, there should be TOO, the media frenzy that surrounded it, claim that people in the region are still not sure what to make of this unusual tale. That thing has haunted me for 29 years. I knew the kids involved. They were good kids, were pretty reliable. God only knows what they saw. We already read this quote. I still don't know. Strange things have happened. Strange things have happened. The whole thing was unusual. Lack of facial features could suggest that it could breathe through its skin. There you go. Similar to frogs, which supports the mucus theory. Exactly. If it's amphibious and there's no nose and the mouth is probably lower, which I don't remember them saying that had a mouth, then who knows? I mean, it literally could be anything. But that's the thing. There's an Irish crocodile named the DOVER Chew. DOVER who? I'm not going to get into them this episode. I'm just going to do a quick 5-sentence overview on what these things are. DOVER Chew. So before I get into those two, there's a little weasel. Before I get into those two, I just want to do a quick that was it for links. So it seems like everything else here, this is the Dover Demon, and this is all of the modern day takes on it. There's a Dover Chew stone. Yeah, it's that. This is the Dover Demon, a very fascinating tale. I personally do have my theories after reading all this, but before I wrap this up, let's do our fair share and look into the Menegishi and the Dobhar-Chu. The Menegishi, singular the same, are a race of trickster people in Cree folklore, similar in nature to the Memegwesi of Ojibwa. I'm going to butcher these. I'm very sorry. The Menegishi... Wait, what is this? Okay. The Menegishi cryptid is a long-limbered creature that was said to originate from humans. They do not have noses or mouths. They're described as semi-humanoid being sexdactylious humans with very thin and lanky arms and legs and big heads minus a nose. They also have 6 fingers. The Menegishi cryptid likes to live in damp areas with bodies of water. They originate from Canada? Is that Canada? That's not how you spell Canada, is it? Am I super dumb? Canada? No. So I feel validated not knowing how to pronounce that. According to one Cree, Shima of the mythology, there are 2 humanoid races, one being the familiar human species and the other being the little people, i.e. Menegishi. These people are said to live between rocks of the rapids. One of their biggest delights, a completely non-heroic form of trickster behavior, is to crawl out of the rocks and capsize the canoes of people canoeing through the rapids, spinning them off to their deaths. So, this will be a fun little, I guess not little, but this will be a fun rabbit hole to go down for another episode. That does sound similar to what we're dealing with here. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it looks exactly like the drawings. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. Yeah, the Dover demon. I don't know. This is like half Dover demon, so like, hey, when we get to this, we'll know what they're talking about, right? So that's the Menegishi, and then the Dobhar-Chu. Dobhar-Chu, water dog, or water hound, or king otter is a creature of Irish folklore. Resembles both a dog and otter, though sometimes is described as half dog, half fish. It lives in water with fur. Immediately, I'm saying no. To the Dover demon being this. I don't know about fur. That they're not, like I said earlier, you're dealing with teenagers, kids, and young adults even, I would say, really like to obsess over cute things, and what's cuter than something that has a lot of fur? Probably a good few things like babies, but like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna say something like a baby dog, right? Baby dog, baby cat, little kitten, puppy, right? Something like that. Nobody said fur, so I'm gonna say no on the Dobhar-Chu. But hey, as an Irishman myself, I'll have to look into that. So. All right, where do we stand? I believe, after reading all of this and doing like 2.5 hours of research without doing any other investigative work and just talking to chat today, the Dobhar-Chu, the Dover demon was a creature of unknown origin. If I absolutely had to give it an origin, I would have to say some sort of evolved creature that has eluded society, modern, or some sort of alien that crashed on Earth and was left behind. I don't know. I guess that's an option. The king otter sounds more like an extinct species. Exactly, it's an extinct species of otter more than anything. On April 21st at 10:30, a gentleman, Bill, at 17 years old, had seen near Lyman's Pond, is my assumption, near the Wall of Dover, or Wall Street, the Farm Street Wall of Dover, wherever that may be. I am not sure. Had seen a creature of unknown origin, I will say again, with long fingers, melon-sized head, very straight back, and no nose, possible mouth to no mouth, and glowing eyes, albeit driving at 10:30 at night, which means whether it's summer or winter in Massachusetts, you got the moon during that time, and had later drew this creature, which is the resulting image on screen now, with big eyes and the shark-like skin on the creature, with the stones being walked on and grabbed by the very long tendril-like fingers. And 2 hours later, John don't remember his last name. I could look at it on another site, but it's John. All right, now I feel bad. Who was it? John what? John Baxter. John Baxter, 15 years old, 2 years younger than Bill, and 2 hours after Bill's sighting over near Lyman's Pond, about half a mile up the road on Farm Street, at the junction between Farm Street and Miller Hill Road, had seen a creature staring at him at the edge of the woods on the road. Deciding to run away, the creature escaped John, not before John chasing after it, a little bit into the woods down to an embankment, the embankment being where the creature was then seen by John for about, I think he said 2 to 3 minutes, or 2 to 3 minutes or 15 seconds, one or the other, I don't remember, staring at him in a shadow. Again, this was 12:30 a.m. on technically April 22nd in Dover, Massachusetts again, staring at him near a pond, assumingly. I mean, there is a pond right there on Miller Hill Road, and there is also a pond down over here at Channing's Pond, and decided to just stare at him for a while, and then John backed up and walked away. And John later drew his encounter with this creature as a silhouette with big eyes that didn't glow, but big eyes, and a shadow standing on rocks holding a tree staring at him. I think it was a good few yards away from John Baxter. Then, I believe it was 10 or 12 the next day, which would be April 22nd. Still technically the same day, I guess. Down the road, past the original sighting, again, a one Abby, Abby Barbham had been being driven back home by her boyfriend of 18 years. A one Will Taintham, I will say, I believe it was. Will had not seen the creature. Oh, and also, remember, Bill was with two other friends, and he was the only one who saw it. And again, she was the only one to see it. On the left-hand side of what I will say was Bridge Street, over the bridge on Bridge Street, as it was at the intersection of Bridge Street and Farm Street, over a bridge, which is right there. It's called Bridge Street. And it was on the edge of the bridge, over water, mind you, near the intersection of Farm Street, just not even like another half mile down the road from where it was seen by Bill, near what I'm going to say is Lyman's Pond, as that makes sense. I don't know why I'm zooming out. And they drove past it with the headlights on. Instead of glowing eyes being orange, they were now green. That was the last sighting, although a few years prior, it was assumed that another group of friends had seen the creature, but they were unsure of what it was, as it was just a small humanoid-looking creature running away at night. And then a year later, Bill had again seen a small humanoid creature that jumped onto the roof of his car and banged on the car's roof as he was in the car at night, again 10:30 p.m. with his girlfriend, and the creature jumped off, and he looked to his left, I believe it said, and he saw it running off into the woods near Farm Street. And he didn't get a good look at it that day, but it was small, long arms, long fingers. So what are we dealing with, everyone? It is my own personal belief that this is a creature of unknown origin that is water-based, likely breathes either through skin in the water, much like a frog, and or is able to breathe oxygen through the mouth. It could very well be just a creature that we don't know about, nothing mysterious going on. It is fairly likely to, if it is, Minagishi, if it is anything, that is not it. Whatever. Anyway, if it is anything cryptid, it is likely, I believe it is pronounced the Minagishi of Chi folklore, which looked, according to the folklore, looks exactly like the drawings. Oh, right, and this was drawing on the 15-year-old Abby's encounter. Green eyes again. But remember, they were both driving, whereas John, who was not driving, said that there was no glow on the eyes. But regardless, this creature lives in this area, I would assume. Could very well live in one of 4 places. Either A, Little Farm Pond, B, Farm Pond, C, Charles River, and was using that as a means of transportation, was standing on the bridge over water, or D, Lyman's Pond, As fifth option could be potential at Chenning's Pond and or even a pond near farms, near Miller Road and Miller Hill Road, I should say. And this creature avoids humans. It is not dangerous, or at the very least not dangerous, as in it will not hunt you out, but it will likely protect itself, as most creatures almost always do. And it just lives in the area. And that's it. It's just chilling and vibing, and it stays out of sight. It only comes out at night, all sightings, even the one back in the day before Bill reported his sighting, and even the one with Bill after his initial spotting with his girlfriend. After the initial sighting, and then the second sighting that he had with his girlfriend, that was also at 10:30 p.m. This creature, or these creatures with an S, they come out at night. They are water-based, and although it seems investigators were on scene, I can't say I feel confident that they knew what they were looking at, because with today's technology of having like Google Maps and all this, and we can actually like point it. I mean, obviously they have maps. I know, obviously, but my point is, like, you can put pieces together like you never really could before with modern day technology. And since it was in the 70s, I don't know. I think I don't really know how to close out this series per episode. I'm going to say that I feel confident that this was a creature of unknown species that we just happen to live with on Earth. And it's interesting. If it is a cryptid, it is most likely a Minigishi, as, again, it's like a 1-to-1. But yeah, that's the Dover Demon. You are welcome to come to your own conclusions. If you're watching this as a video on demand, you are more than encouraged. If you, first of all, this is a very long video. If you start to the entire thing, if you even can, because I don't know if this video is copywritten, because of music in the background, you are more than welcome. Please tell me what you think. I'm not saying that because, you know, like, I want comments and YouTube stats. Like, obviously everyone does who does YouTube. I just want to get other people's opinions. And I think this is a good way to structure future episodes. What do we got? Animal usually go out of their way to actively avoid humans, could explain less than no sightings. Exactly. That could be another reason why. Heck, it could be that this creature could be one of the very few of its kind, and it just goes out of its way. It just goes out of its way to avoid people, and after this altercation with multiple humans in 2 days, poor thing probably stressed out of its mind, it decided, all right, I'm staying in the water. Nope, not doing that again. And it could live for a very long time. Who knows lifespan on this thing? So yeah, that is the Dover Demon, everybody. There will be more like this. Please let me know what you think in the comments. If you watched this video on demand, if you did, I can't express how much I appreciate you enough. That means a lot to me. And to everybody in the comments, Mace Dog, Cam, Lord Jax, thank you for being here for so long. I really appreciate being a voice in the background for you. It is very humbling, because that is something I do all the time with a lot of people on YouTube, and to be that voice means a lot. So thank you guys for letting me be a part of your day. Thank you guys for throwing me on, and thank you for just listening, because this is something not... I'm not going to say that. I was going to say this is something not a lot of people find interesting, but I think that's not true. I don't think that's true. I think a lot of people find this stuff interesting. It's just not a lot of people have time to dedicate to, researching this kind of stuff. And, I think it's cool. I don't do face cam a lot. This is the first time in a long time I am showing my face on YouTube. So expect more of that, I guess, with these videos. Hopefully I'll have somebody else to bounce off of next time. Get a little bit more insight in voice person. Either in person or in voice. Either way. And, yeah, this is a lot of fun. Oh, you want to hit the dab? Want to hit the dab? You want a baseball dab? Huh? In honor of football season starting for the Pats? Witcha. There you go. Dab. Clip that. Is that what they say on Twitch? I don't like Twitch. I like YouTube. You guys are cooler. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching the video. Like it if you liked it. If you didn't like it, no hard feelings. You don't gotta like it. And I hope to see everybody again. This will be a weekly series. Next week, I feel very confident in probably doing a Native American folklore type of creature. Possibly even the Minigishi. Who knows? Last thing I gotta say is the people who were in here earlier. There are two specifically I want to shout out. Mace Dog He's a good friend of mine. You should check out his channel if you like just relaxing videos. He makes a lot of very calm videos, very easygoing. A lot of Minecraft stuff. Yeah, I'm plugging friends. At this point, you can leave if you don't want to listen to this. But long story short, Mace Dog is really awesome. He's a great content creator. Go check him out. Link in the description if I remember to put one. And we'll probably do a collab in the future, especially with this, if he likes this. And by like this, I mean like likes this type of topic. And Cameron in this chat, he has a Spotify, Cam Blue. He's the one that made my YouTube cover. By cover, I mean the logo, the intro animation, the outro animation, and the banner. Check him out. He's a great musical artist. Makes a lot of awesome songs. And a really good guy and a great friend. So check him out too. And Lord Checks, hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Really appreciate you sticking it out with me. So thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope this was fun for you. Learn a little something new every day. And remember, somebody somewhere loves you, even if you don't know it yet. Take care, guys, and goodbye. Bye-bye.